Hi, this is Tom Pizzato
And Dan Silvestri
from SpyMovieNavigator.com, the worldwide community of spy movie fans, spy movie podcasts, videos, discussions, and more. If you like our podcast, please give us a 5-star rating on iTunes and in Google Play. That helps us a lot. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and on Instagram too. And when you have feedback, an idea for a podcast, something you want to say, just click the big red button on our website that says send us a voicemail or send us a message from our Facebook page. We may include it on our show.
In No Time to Die, it is time for somebody to die. We've watched the No Time to Die trailer a lot. We're intrigued. The photography, special effects, lighting, also enticing, and yet not all that revealing. Or is there something to be revealed here on several of the main characters?
Now, pretty much the rest of this podcast is going to be pure speculation. We don't know until April what happens, Dan.
Right.
So that said, we're going to look at the strengths and weaknesses of some of the speculative scenarios and possible directions that Eon might take with No Time to Die.
Yeah, and we're going to look at what are the potential character plot twists here that might unfold in No Time to Die. We're going to speculate with the rest of the world, and let's have some fun. So let's go look at a few of the main characters here. That's what we'll do. Nomi, Bond, Leiter, and Swann. As we know, there's a ton of rumors and speculation flying about what will actually happen in No Time to Die.
That's the beautiful thing about speculation, huh?
Yeah, the world is going nuts with this movie. So I think it's going to be a huge hit. They've done a great job of getting all of us to talk about this pretty much nonstop since the trailer came out. So we're going to jump right in with the speculation too. And as Tom said before, send us your speculations. We'd love to hear your insights and speculations. Send us a voice message on our website or message us through Facebook. And we'll include your comments in one of our future shows. It'll be fun. For Nomi, played by Lashana Lynch, of course, there has been the most speculation. And we're going to have some fun with that. 4 things can happen, we think, with Nomi. 1, she could really be introduced as the next 007 and really replace James Bond going forward in the franchise.
Yeah, Dan, how likely really is that?
That's a good question. Well, she is introduced in the trailer, as we know, as a 00 agent, and she's been one for 2 years. We know she's a badass. She's already had to make 2 kills to get her 00 status. And
I love that requirement. It's like you got to kill 2 people, and then we make you licensed to kill.
Which is kind of weird.
Yep.
But, okay, so we know she's already tough. And then we hear her be a badass in the trailer when she tells Bond, the world has moved on, Commander Bond, so stay in your lane. You get in my way, I'll put a bullet in your knee, the one that works. I thought she's fantastic. She delivers those lines with authority. Beautiful. So I think this reveals a lot about Nomi. A, she's in control. You get in my way. So she's got a way. She's authorized to get her job done and does not want interference from Bond.
And it's interesting because Bond is used to getting things his way.
Yeah. So they're already making her a very, very strong 00. And B, she's comfortable with her threat to put a bullet in his knee and would likely do it if she had to. I think she'd say, yeah, fine. You know what? Bam. There you go, you little bastard.
Don't mess with me.
So, wow, unlike jersey numbers in sports that are sometimes retired for great athletes, maybe the 007 number is not retired just because Bond retires. So Nomi may be introduced as 007. That was a big rumor in the beginning, and of course they didn't tell you that in the trailer. But obviously, she's not James Bond or the next James Bond. And Barbara Broccoli once said, "I always feel that Bond is a male character. That is just a fact. We have to make movies about women and women's stories, but we have to create female characters that are not just for a gimmick to turn a male character into a woman." And she said that at the Bond 25 launch in Jamaica. So, yeah, obviously, 007, a woman, is not going to be James Bond. I think, okay, that's pretty clear. And no matter, Barbara Broccoli could say that all the time because that's going to be true. You're not going to have a female 007 as James Bond. But
Okay, so with that, then Nomi's not going to be James Bond in our opinion, then, right?
well, she's not going to be James Bond. She could be 007, and she could replace James Bond. That's what we're speculating on here.
So this is one of the 4 areas of speculation. For
Yeah. Will
Okay.
she? The question is, will she be the franchise 007 agent in continuing 007 movies with no Bond, or will James Bond return?
Well, then that would lead us to speculation 2, which would make the first one be absolutely impossible.
What?
Well, our speculation 2 then, first one is that she becomes the next Bond.
Well,
the
no,
second way to look at this
007.
is the next 007, right, replacing Bond.
Mm.
Then the next thing then would if you take the opposite of that, she could die in this movie.
She could. We're going to talk about that next. So, hey, there's our second option. Nomi will die in this movie, like Tom said. Okay. Look, somebody has to die in this movie.
Well, why does somebody have to die? It's no time to die. Nobody should be dying.
I know. But somebody is going to die, and it's going to be someone other than the character played by Rami Malek, Safin. Is it Safin? I think that's how you pronounce it. No one's ever said it that I've heard. Somebody else is going to die. So could it be Swann? Could it be Nomi?
Be Felix?
Felix. Yeah, it could be Felix. It's happened before. Obviously, on Her Majesty's Secret Service, his wife gets killed. He's lost his love before Bond. And we'll talk about this a little bit later because he's basically, Bond has a tragic life. I mean, he's got a pretty tough life. But let's see. But maybe it's Nomi who will die. But wait, here's our thought. Ian Productions is going all out to create this very powerful 00 agent in Nomi. And as Barbara Broccoli just said, we just talked about, hey, she wants to make movies about women and with strong women's stories and so on, so that aren't just a gimmick. So we think, look, you're putting all this effort into No Time to Die for Nomi to be in this film as a strong 00 agent. Ian has invested a lot into developing this female agent in the modern world of advancing women's causes and status and so on. So is she going to die?
Probably not.
Yeah, I say probably not too.
All right, so we went with the thing that she replaces 007. She becomes a new 007. We then went to the speculation of she would die. So then what's the third area of speculation we need to tackle?
Yeah, this one I kind of like. I like these last two. That Nomi will achieve an equal status to James Bond in Bond films to come. This is what I think would be brilliant. And she'll stay on as a powerful woman 00 agent to maybe team up with Bond on cases and missions in the future, or have parallel stories going on with Nomi and Bond in the same movie and teaming up at some point. This seems to be a very good idea to us at SpyMovieNavigator.com and to us on our show here, Cracking the Code of Spy Movies. Why? It really is a perfect solution. Bring Bond back. Again, they still have the issue that if he retired because of his age, as we said in the previous podcast, how do you bring him back? I mean, they do hint openly that he's older and he's been gone a while and so on here. But it's the movie, so they can bring him back, right? Casino was Casino Royale.
You think about, they bring in new Bonds over time. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they can do that.
And look what they did with Casino Royale. That was a reboot, but it wasn't a reboot to 1962. It had modern technology in it.
I mean, they not just technology, they also brought modern things. The game they're playing, Texas Hold'em. It's
right. That's a good point. Yeah. So, and our willing suspension of disbelief is like, okay, we're going to accept it and go with it. So we're fine with that. We just love Bond. Judi Dench was still M again, in the reboot and through Skyfall. So yeah, it could be done.
The weird thing to me about Judi Dench being M in the reboot, is that the way they did this whole Daniel arc, right, with these stories going back to Casino Royale and then going forward with this whole series of related movies.
Yeah,
you had nothing there about Tracy about Tracy at all, and her dying. Yet in previous Bond films prior to Daniel, there were references made to the fact that he had a wife
Well,
before.
I'm going to give him a break here and say, hey, this was a reboot. And maybe these first 4 movies with Daniel Craig here are before that happened. So again, it's the movies.
That's true.
They could do whatever the hell they want, and we'll eventually say, yeah, that's okay. So anyway,
it's Eon Productions. All bow down.
yeah, I mean, they've taken things out of order the whole time, ever since they started with Dr. No. So with the order of the books versus the order of the movies, with Poirot getting killed in Dr. No movie, the first movie. But so anyway, we think this would be great, though. You have 2 equal 00 agents that Eon Productions can do whatever the heck they want with going forward. Wow. I think that's great.
I think that's a really good concept.
Yeah.
So we've covered 3 of the 4 scenarios of what we think might happen with Nomi. Let's go ahead and get to the 4th one. And this one's kind of Disney-like. When you were talking to me about this one,
yeah,
I mean, you were talking about using Nomi and extending the 00 brand and creating a spin-off, which is different than what we were just talking about in the 3rd scenario,
right?
Which is where they were like co-partners almost.
Yeah.
But you're talking about in this 4th scenario, maybe they're using this to spin off this Nomi character into a whole new series of movies.
Yeah, and I think that's a possibility. Why not? I mean, others have done it, and sure, it's another investment in extending your brand and hoping this new brand extension works, and that costs money to do all that. But hey, they might be, and then they're competing head on with Atomic Blonde and Anna and all these other female spy movies. So hey, it's a possibility, I think.
Yeah, but those movies did not make nearly the money.
Yeah, but they don't have
Mission Impossible or a James Bond.
Yeah, but this is gonna have the Bond brand, really. So it is a different scenario. I mean, it's possible. Is it likely? I don't know, but it's a strong scenario, and it could happen. Would I like it to happen? I think it would be fun if they actually did it, and then they could it could be cameos in each other's movies and stuff. I think it'd be kind of cool.
Well, the thing that intrigues me about this idea is that Eon Productions could actually start getting onto some kind of an alternating schedule. So like we're having to wait 5 years for this movie.
Yeah, that would be good.
So if they could sit there and say, okay, every other year we're gonna we're gonna put out a Nomi movie or a James Bond movie and alternate through there, that gives them the time to do the development they need to do, whichever character and whichever story, and still be able to get out more frequently than this 5-year hiatus gives us.
Yeah, that's a good point, and that would be kind of fun. Everybody would say, hey, wow, this is kind of cool. So that's the end of our Nomi treatment. There's 4 different scenarios that could happen with Nomi in this next film, No Time to Die. So we're going to look at James Bond now. Okay, yeah, lots of speculation, as we just talked about in the Nomi treatment. What could happen to Bond?
Well, of course, Danny's going to die, and they're going to just wrap up the series.
Yeah, there you go. He dies, and that's that. Curtain comes down, end of Bond, boom. Eon Productions has a $7 billion franchise based on Bond, right? The longest running film franchise in history at stake here. Yeah, so they could make Bond die in this movie. Nah. I'm thinking no.
Well, they supposedly the reason they changed directors was because the other director wanted to kill Bond off.
Yeah, but there was very strong speculation early on, before the trailer even came out, about Bond dying in this movie. They even said, oh, you have Moneypenny hovering over Bond at the end, and Bond's looks like he might be dead, and she says this is No Time to Die. And then, boom, it ends. That was one speculation. So, is he going to die in this movie? No. Could he be dying in this movie? Yeah. I think that's a possible scenario, that he could be dying at the end of this movie. And what is that?
So that's kind of along the lines of what we talked about in our previous podcast in January, where we were talking about, where James Bond is like Coca-Cola, and why this is No Time to Die.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, we're looking at all sides. So, yeah, he could die. Or they could leave us hanging, whether he'll live on to fight another day. This is a nice little close for them to say, well, we don't know. I mean, Ian Fleming did this in From Russia with Love, the novel he wrote. He got poisoned at the end. You didn't know if Bond was going to survive or not at the end of the novel. So,
and again, we talked about that in the last podcast as well.
Yeah, so I mean, this could happen. So, okay. So if Ian wants time to think about what they're going to do next with Nomi and the female 00 agent, this would give them a lot of time to think. Whatever.
And Bond in general. What do they do with the fact that they've got this guy who's old and retired now?
This could be a very neat little scenario for them, a dying Bond. Okay, so we're going to see. That's another possibility. Here's another one. He stays retired. Even after getting pulled back in by Leiter and MI6, we're still left wondering what will happen to 007 or Bond or Nomi. Well, maybe he stays retired. As we said before, Ian does have a problem bringing a retired Bond back if he's too old. What do they do? It's like, okay, now we bring back a young Bond. Okay, how does that fit in? Well, another reboot? Nah, I don't think so.
Well, see, I disagree with you on that, but go on.
Yeah? You think they could reboot it again?
Absolutely. I mean, they've done that.
Oh, can. Yeah, I said can they. Of course they can. It's the movies. But I just don't see them doing it. But would we accept it? Yeah, we would probably accept it. We'll just have to suck it up and accept that Bond came back younger. And this whole retirement thing was maybe a future concept. But maybe the new movies are just prequels to him retiring in this movie. They can do whatever the heck they want. And we're going to go with it. We want more Bond movies. So I don't know. It's fun guessing. So
yeah, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah. So here we go. And then I think the last possibility for Bond in No Time to Die is he comes out of retirement, and he stays out of retirement, and he's reassigned his 007 number. If it's been reassigned, we don't really know that for sure yet. Okay, that's cool, too. I think that would be all right. So again, the age thing still lingers over his head in this scenario, though. But again, fill in the blanks in future movies with a younger Bond, a strong Nomi. It could be done. So he comes out of retirement, stays out of retirement. And we got Bond back and a strong female 00 agent. Not bad.
Yeah, I'm not into that idea. I actually think that number one makes the most sense. Him dying and then
wait. You actually think what?
The number one, where he's dying and gives Eon time to see what the public reaction to the movie was.
Yeah.
And how they brought Lashana in and try to figure out what that Nomi character can do for them. So it gives them some wiggle room, and we're all about analytics these days. What are the analytics from the moviegoers on this? Yeah. And how do we take it? The dying scenario, to me, gives them the most flexibility.
Yeah, it does. It does. All right, now we're going to take a look at Felix Leiter. This is a fun one. Felix Leiter has appeared in 9 Bond films of the 24 prior to No Time to Die. This will be his 10th appearance. 7 different actors played Felix Leiter, but Jeffrey Wright will have the most appearances as Felix Leiter at 3 with No Time to Die.
As an aside, Ian Fleming developed the name Felix Leiter from the middle name of a friend, Ivar Felix Bryce, and Leiter, which was a surname of another friend.
Yeah, he did that a lot, where he took.
Yeah, we've talked about that when we did our whole thing on the Ian Fleming manuscripts.
Yes.
Right, how he did that a lot in his writing.
Yeah. So anyway, Felix here has been a big part of Bond's life, and in the trailer for No Time to Die, Felix comes to Bond, who is retired, and says to him, "I need a favor, brother. You're the only one I trust for this." Okay.
Well, and what I love about that is that means this has to be something really covert, because he can't trust his CIA brethren.
Yeah, that's a good point, Tom, because he is in the CIA.
Right.
And Bond's the only guy he could trust, and Bond's retired. So, yeah, this is big. So, it's pretty good. So, Bond's strong bond with Felix is what seems to really jostle Bond out of retirement and into this chase again. So, yeah, so that's a good point. He's coming to Bond, not the CIA, his cohorts in the CIA, but to Bond for this special mission. So,
He's going to bring Bond back out of retirement, but what's going to then happen with Felix? Right? What are their
yeah,
options there?
we got a couple of things that could happen to Felix. One is Felix entices Bond out of retirement. They succeed in their mission together. And Bond feels like, hey, this retirement thing is overrated. I'm back. This is a plausible scenario. Likely? I don't know. Probably not, but
Retirement's a good thing.
but why not? I mean, why not? He could be enticed out of it and think, yeah, what the heck, I'm coming back. That's
Okay, so then Felix and Bond go on and save the world in future movies.
yeah.
Okay.
The other scenario would be, and I'd be disappointed, Felix dies. Again, someone has to die. Maybe it's Safin. Maybe it's Felix and Safin. Maybe Felix comes to Bond and says he needs him, and in between that meeting and Bond unretiring, Felix is killed. That would get Bond out of retirement in a heartbeat. Remember License to Kill, where Bond goes rogue to carry out his personal vendetta against Franz Sanchez, who fed Leiter to the sharks. I mean, if he gets killed, Bond would definitely come out of retirement to go retaliate and get whoever killed Felix Leiter.
That's true.
Right? So this might be a very strong case. And
now the interesting thing is you're referencing License to Kill, which is Felix having prosthetic leg and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is nowhere into the Daniel Craig thing. So this whole he went to seek revenge with his personal vendetta either happens before the Daniel series starts or the Daniel series just totally ignores the past.
Yeah, but again, it paints a picture of the portrait of James Bond and what he is and what he would do and what he's willing to do.
And the fact that he had such a strong bond with Felix in License to Kill, we know that he's got a strong bond for this guy.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to see Felix go, especially Jeffrey Wright. I think he's been terrific.
Oh, he's been absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, and it's possible.
Yeah. Now the interesting thing too for me here is in Live and Let Die, which was Fleming's second novel, it's actually where he wrote about Leiter getting mauled.
Right.
So that whole scene in License to Kill actually comes out of Fleming's second book.
Yeah.
And I mean, even the line he disagreed with something that ate him.
Yeah.
That was actually in Live and Let Die, a note pinned to Leiter in Live and Let Die that they just took into License to Kill.
Yeah, and Ian Productions and their screenwriters have done this kind of thing a lot. And
and the other thing though,
pretty
with
well
that,
though,
is that Fleming in that book originally was going to have Leiter die, and he had to be convinced to keep him alive.
Mm-hmm.
So Leiter dying really, to me, doesn't sound too far fetched. Although, as we've mentioned, the story arcs are a little weird. His character does live on in some of the Bond continuation books.
Yes.
So where are we in time is the interesting part to me here.
Yeah, the continuity thing has never been the biggest issue with the Bond series. I mean, yeah. But again, it's our willing suspension of disbelief. It's like, yeah, okay, it's a little mixed up, but somewhere in there that makes sense somehow. So, but it may be the time now. And maybe there's another CIA operative that Bond will get close with and develop a relationship with in the future and whatever. And, of course, Nomi is there to maybe be a presence for the MI6 for a long time. But this relationship with Felix and CIA and so on, I'd hate to see it end here. But that's another possible scenario for Felix. And one that sounds pretty strong.
Yeah.
All right, last we have to mention Swann. She's either believable or not in the trailer when she says to Bond, "Why would I betray you?" In general, and this is my opinion, when people answer questions with another question, they're covering something up, and they're really not answering your question. It's like, why would I betray you? That doesn't answer anything. It's putting a question on you. So that's clever for a trailer, especially because we have no idea what's going on, and that's good. So what are her dark secrets that they have not explored yet? He kind of says that in there. We haven't gotten to your secrets yet. this is an exciting part of the trailer, and it makes us keep wondering throughout the trailer and till April what's going to happen.
We'll find out in April.
Yeah. So what's the first scenario for Swann? So maybe it's all a mix-up. Here's one possible scenario with Swann. Swann, though her father was a Spectre operative, is clean. Tracy DiVincenzo was clean in On Her Majesty's Secret Service, even though her father, Draco, ran a criminal organization. So
now, actually, the interesting thing to me here is there's been no acknowledgement of Tracy in the Daniel Craig arc. We've talked about this a couple times.
Yeah.
Is Swann a Tracy replacement? She's got a dirty dad. She's clean. Do Bond and her get married, and then she meets an unfortunate end? Is this? I mean, are they going to really do? That kind of a mirroring of what they did in On Her Majesty's Secret Service with Madeline instead of Tracy?
Yeah. So if she's clean, that's a possible scenario, right? He ends up marrying her. Or maybe he did marry her. We don't even know. He's been gone a long time. Yeah. But the scene here, when she's opening the box with the Phantom of the Opera mask, I mean, that's the eerie part that makes you question this whole scenario. Is she clean or not clean? Which is,
I love that. I love that when she opens that up.
Yeah. So you don't really know, was this in her possession all along, or did she just happen upon it, or did somebody?
Yeah, maybe she got it mailed to her.
Yeah, maybe it got sent to her and she's just opening it. We don't know. That's the big question here.
That's what I love about this part of the trailer is the look on her face when she opens that thing up.
Yeah.
And when she looks at that mask. Is it hello, old friend? Or is it what the heck is this? Or I know what this is, and oh my, I don't like where this is going to go.
Yeah, I think it's like that.
All three of those are possible.
Yeah, it is. She had on her face. I look at her face and I think, oh, she's thinking, oh no, I got to do this. You know, that's what I'm looking. I'm thinking she's looking at that going, okay, shoot, I got to do this. And so I don't know. So that's one possible scenario. So the second scenario is, hey, maybe Swann is not so clean. And she's maybe infiltrated MI6 as a double agent. When Bond sees her in the hallway of MI6, when he says he won't lose his control.
Yeah, he has that pause as he sees Nomi and Swann walking together.
Yeah, and he's shocked. Is he doubting his control now that he's seen her? That maybe she's working for MI6 based on what he actually knows about her and that we don't know yet? Oh, that's also a possible scenario. So Bond keeps getting involved in these people that have underworld connections. Why does he do that?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, this scenario, if this is a scenario where she's not so clean, it cannot end well. Really. Cue the music. Maybe we'll hear her swan song as she dies.
Oh, damn. You didn't go there.
All right. So this would not be the first time Bond would lose his woman for one reason or another. This did happen to the other fella because Bond is the other fella. Casino Royale, 2006, he loses Vesper in the movie and in the novel by Fleming. Of course, like we just said, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, in both the movie and the book, he loses his wife, Tracy. In Fleming's book, Moonraker, Bond loses the woman at the end. He says, I was going to take you off to a farmhouse in France. And she's Gayla, her name is Gayla, says to him, I'm sorry, I can't oblige. Well, goodbye, Gayla. And they go off. He loses her. And later, you know, he's talking about this as though, man, this could have been a good relationship. Even in the book Diamonds Are Forever, Bond really falls for Tiffany Case. But soon she's out of his life.
He falls for all of these women.
Well, he doesn't, not in the serious way. He likes them all and he wants to have sex and whatever with them all. But in some of these cases, he really falls for them. That he, like, this could be love kind of thing. In Tiffany Case's case, yeah, he really thought, and he tells them, I think, in From Russia with Love, he thought they could have gotten married.
Yep.
But she runs off with some American military officer and goes back to America. So again, he loses somebody he really cared about. It's happened to Bond a lot. And so I think sometimes in both the films and the novel, Bond does not get his woman. We always think he always gets his woman. He does not always get his woman. And in this particular case, maybe Swann is another one that for one reason or another will get away or be killed. I don't know.
All right. That's possible. We've looked at the scenarios then of what could happen, what we think could happen to Nomi, to Bond, to Felix, and to Madeline.
Yeah. And we know somebody who is not the evil bad guy is going to die. I just know that.
You just know it.
I just know that.
Man, this is what beauty of speculation.
Yeah, of course it's speculation. We don't have any inside info here. We're just speculating like the rest of the world. So who will it be? Send us your thoughts right now by sending us a voice message from our website, spymovienavigator.com. Hit the big red button on the right of the screen that says send us a voicemail, and we'll put you in our next podcast about No Time to Die. Let's see who can speculate the best. Go do it now. Send us a message. We want to hear from you. Did people like the trailer? Overwhelmingly, it seems people like the trailer. In fact, most people loved the trailer. We did a little poll on Twitter about the trailer, of course, unscientific poll. And overwhelmingly, those who responded mostly rated it A with some Bs. Nobody did not like the trailer. And we loved the trailer. They did a fabulous job on the trailer. We can't wait to see the movie.
Now, Dan, I think you and I have to go to London to see it because it releases there before it releases in the U.S.
That might be fun.
That week in between the two.
Let's do it.
I got to see this right when it comes out.
All right, let's go to London and see it before it opens in the U.S. That might be fun.
I think it would.
This has been Dan Silvestri.
And Tom Pizzato.
We're finished with our speculating. Head to our website now to send us the voice message with your speculations and guesses, and you will be on our show. And keep listening. We appreciate it very much. Let's keep cracking the code of spy movies together.